Okay, I don't think, am I signed into Amanda on Facebook? Because you can all see my screen. I said Amanda. All right, so this is the document here. I'm copying the link to Facebook, so you have access to it also. But it's on view only, so you'll have to create a copy like I have said. No, this is my Facebook wall, not Yellow Pepper Club, sorry. So you create a copy and then we'll get started. But basically what I'm talking about is concerns content that you can create for any platform. It's some things that will specifically be for Instagram, but the majority of it will be for any platform that you are on. So it's about understanding that if you understand certain things, when it comes to creating content, it becomes a lot easier. And can you all see my screen? I didn't even ask that question.
Yes.
So are you seeing create content that your audience will love? Is that what you can see now? Or can you still see the Google Doc?
You see your Facebook page?
Okay, all right. I need to change what I'm sharing. All right, can you see my Canva now?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you for that, Tony. So if any other person comes into the group, I will just repeat what I have said. Basically, we're talking about creating content. Now, when it comes to creating content, whether it's a blog post, it's an email, it's an Instagram post, whatever you're creating, you're not creating for yourself, you're creating for your audience. So the content we're going to be creating for 90 days is not just for us, it's for our audience, but it must reflect our brand. So if we understand our brand and we have brand clarity, it's easier for us to create content that our audience would love. We've done audience profile and understanding your audience, so we won't really go into details about that. But when it comes to Instagram, I said you could, content post types could include quotes, infographics, photos, videos, micro blog or carousel post. Quotes are just inspirational quotes that you could post that will uplift people. Infographics could be information on your industry that you could share that people need to know. So it could be statistics about one statistics that has been going on recently is the number of Black people in boards in big companies. So that's a stat that you can share if it's related to your industry, or you can share the statistics about that related to your industry. You can share pictures, you can share videos. Then a microblog or a carousel blog. This is carousel is specific for Instagram. It's taking a topic of a blog post and then creating it in one post that we have 10 different slides. So it could be 5 ways to get up early, sleep early, exercise, don't take naps during the day. Those are simple points that you could have. So doing something like that will help you a great deal to communicate with your audience. Remember, we said you're not speaking to yourself, you're speaking to your audience. But what should your content do? What should be the guiding principles of the content that you create? The content you create should, first of all, appeal to your audience. It should have, that means, what it means, I say appeal to your audience, it should speak to the people that you should be speaking to. Your brand is created to please somebody. So whoever that person is, once you've identified that person, whatever you are doing is done to please that person. It should have a message. Now, with the message, it should be in line with your brand message. For example, Emma talked about our culture in Yellow Pepper Club. Our Yellow Pepper Club culture is that we do it messy. That's one of the cultures that we have here. So we can say that our brand is a messy brand, but we get it done. Done is better than perfect. That's one of our messages. It should be in line with your growth plan. You should have a plan for your growth. We talk about goals a lot. You should have like your 3 months plan, your 6 months plan, and your 1 year plan, 5 year plan, and 10-year plan. If, for example, with the book club that someone started recently, Their aim is to write books, to get children into books, but it has started as a small book club. So if you know that growth plan, the content you are creating is in line with your growth plan, then whatever you're creating should be in line with your goals. Your growth plan is part of your goals. I separated them because your goals could be the objectives you want to achieve for your brand, your sales goal, but it's different from your growth plan and your strategy that you have. Whatever you're sharing, it should be memorable, it should be entertaining, it should be shareable. Memorable, you don't want to create what every other person has created. You don't want to just copy and paste what someone has done, but you want to present something that people will remember. So when Ahmed did a recent podcast on something Ed, I can't remember specifically now, but that's something memorable that will come to mind. There are some podcasts you've listened to that you remember. There are some blog posts that you read that immediately you read it, you want to share it with everybody. It should be educating but entertaining. You don't want to bore people. Don't take social out of social media. Whatever you're creating should be shareable, it should be interesting, and it should be in line with your brand. When I say it should be shareable, when you're creating content for Instagram, there are some posts that you see or tweets that you see, but you can't help to share it. That's what you're going for. So when you're looking at your brand aesthetics, looking at your brand design and the pictures that you select images that people will want to share. Put out content that people will want to share because of the points or the value that you've added to them. So when you are looking at content you're creating, look at shareability also. Will someone want to share this email that I just shared with them to make other people join my mailing list? Will someone share my blog post? Will someone find it interesting? Or is it just a boring piece, another boring article that someone else has written? Or is it something interesting and engaging that they can talk about? Then it should be in line with your brand, and you should just probably, most importantly, be yourself when you're creating content. Okay, now, content is not created in a vacuum. Content is created for specific sectors of the economy. Everybody's industry is different. We have different industries. We have the mining industry, agricultural industry, technology, media. There are so many industries that we have, but you need to identify the specific industry that your brand is situated. So now, when we're talking about industry now, if you go to the Google Doc that was created for you, you will see that the first part of the document talked about your brand story and everything. But the second part on page 2 talks about industry. So I want you to identify the industry that you are in and write that industry down. For example, someone in the HR, as an HR generalist, you're in a specific industry. As a marketer or a banker, you're in the financial industry. As a doctor, you're in the medical industry. As a pharmacist, you're in the medical industry. When you find out your industry and you've identified your industry, it is easier to create content that will suit that industry specifically. You are not creating for every other industry, you are creating for the industry that you are in specifically. So let's look at industry. I said every business is classified into different industries based on the products they make and the markets they cater to. These industries are classified on their specialties, which are based on goods and services they provide. So the industry you are in is based on the goods and services you provide. So while there are companies which belong to only one industry, and provide industry-specific goods or services, there are also conglomerates which cater to multiple industries at a time. So you need to understand that you could belong to two industries. It's possible to belong to the technological industry and the business industry. If you are a technology business that is involved in business innovation, so then you are involved in two industries. But understand the specific industry that you are in. That's very essential. So what industries do we have in the group from what I have said? What industries? Can we unmute ourselves? What industries do we have in the group?
Um, Design and construction.
Brilliant. Yes. Okay. What else?
We have mining. We have
Who is in design and
farming.
construct? Who is in mining? Yeah.
We have mining, farming.
I mean, yes. Um, Olaji, what industry are you in?
We have farm meat industry.
I think
Health and
Recruitment and
wellness.
HR
health and
management, yeah.
wellness. Yes, we have health and wellness. So okay, so we have health and wellness. So write the industry that you belong to in that place that is filled for industry. We'll go into more details about the industry on your document, because then if you understand the industry, you understand what the industry is about. If you understand the advantages and disadvantages of that industry and why that, please can everybody mute themselves back? And then you are able to create content to suit that industry specifically. Remember, you are part of an industry and you are serving the audience of that industry. So whatever you are creating is created to serve them specifically. For example, Nene is in the tourism industry, but our audience in the tourism industry could either be people that are interested in tourism, that she can, in tourism from the tourist perspective, or organizations that are interested in investing in tourism. If she identifies which of those two things audiences she's focusing on, then she's able to create content that will suit their need. But if she hasn't identified the industry needs, what are the advantages of the industry, what are the problems we have in this industry, how can we solve these problems, then it's impossible to create content that will suit that specific industry. So understanding your industry is essential. Human resource industry, PR, communications, advertising industry. Yes, those are other industries that people have. So if you go to page 2 of your document, if you want to think about industry.
Can I add something to what you
Yeah.
just said? So in the online space, when you're thinking about creating content or creating content that attracts people, there's three main categories that your content would be in. Those are, or three main niches. I know you're going to go into the niche side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But three main
Yeah.
niches, which would be health and wellness, it would be relationships, and it would be business, money making. So money related, which could be business, it could be marketing, it could be real estate, it could be finance, whatever. But there's the money side. So wealth and wealth and relationships. So if you just have that in mind and try and think, where do I fit in? Am I helping people with their health? Am I helping people to make money or to build business? Am I helping people to have better relationships, whether it's parenting or whatever, or a combination of the three? So those are like three needs that most people have that you can use to create your content or to attract people to say, okay, I'm focusing on helping people with their health, whether it's mental health, or I'm helping people with their relationships, or I'm helping people with their money. Okay, that's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you very much, Emma. Okay, so if you're still struggling, Emma is right, I'll be that. But if you're still struggling with understanding your industry, just think about it from this way. An industry is a sector of the economy that offers a distinct type of value. This can include products and services. So just think about a unique part of the economy that offers specific value. These are other industries we have. I said we have aerospace, transport, computer, education. So there are other industries that exist, but we need to create specifically for our industries. Now, if we go to our documents, if we go to page 2, I talked about understanding your industry. I want you to also think about the advantages of an industry. Why does this industry exist? What are the benefits of this industry? What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? And you can fill that on your own time after this. If you have questions about that, then let me know. and I will see what we can do to answer it. But answering those questions, the reason you have to answer those questions is because those questions will determine, like I said, what you post that will make you stand out from everybody. So you're not just following trends. There's a standard that has been set already. If you just are following the next hospital's page, for example, to see what they are posting, to see what's on their website, you forget that you are created in a specific industry to meet the need of that industry. If you don't meet the need, your competition will overtake you. We're looking at being able to survive long term. We're not looking at a business that will not thrive in the long run. So understanding that you are in the fashion industry will not just make you do only outfit of the day, but will make you understand that, okay, in the fashion industry, for example, mental health is an issue that people struggle with because people have a body image problem. So you've identified a problem in the fashion industry specifically. And by identifying that problem, what you've done is you have created a new type of content for yourself for the specific industry. So it's not just about clothes only. It's not just about shoes and how to pair outfits, but it's about thinking, how do you have a positive body image? How do you take care of your skin? How do you take care of your hair? Fashion is multi-purpose. So for example, Amaka is in the natural hair industry. She can still talk about other things, but the natural hair industry is part of another major industry, which is the fashion industry, which is part of something else. And that's an industry that has to do with women and beauty. So if you think about it from that perspective, you'll be able to dig deeper and answer specific questions about your industry. This will guide the emails you send to people. But remember, the emails you send are dependent on your audience. You know who they are. You've identified their pain points. Then you're able to create content in any category that will meet their needs. So the most important part of today is coming up with the topics that you will write about. You can come up with the designs later, but today is about topics first. If we get the topics, then we're able to do better research and create better content. So we're not just pushing out content that doesn't have value. Value is important. Another thing you have to think about is your target market. Now, what's your target market? The target market is a specific group of people you want to reach with your marketing message. So you understand that in the fashion industry, you could be talking to women only, or you could be talking to men. You could be talking, you could have a market that is specifically for just children. Then once you've defined it, you are able to focus on what's important to you and not miss opportunity. I said the target market is a group of consumers identified as likely purchasers of a company's product. Although the women industry is for women, sometimes men may purchase their products for the women in question. So if you're trying to persuade men to buy things, what kind of post will you be putting out there that will gather attention of the people you want that have the purchasing power? The children's market is for children, agreed, but children don't have purchasing power. The parents have purchasing power. So your target may be the children, but you are trying to get the parents to be convinced that your brand is ethical enough for their children to want to support you. So if they see that the brand is ethical, it follows what they want you to follow, then they will purchase for you. So think about who has the purchasing power for your target market. Don't think only, oh, my brand is about children, I will just put only children's clothes and this thing. What are parenting tips? What are things that you can write that will make parents want their children to wear your clothes? So depending on the sector you are in and the market you are in, that will determine the content. So we've talked about the industry, your target market. Then your market or your target market is important, but then you have to niche it down. Because you narrow your focus, you broaden your audience. So by narrowing your focus, don't think, oh, I'm narrowing it down too much, I don't know who I am going to serve. No, when you narrow your focus, you broaden your audience, you let people know what it is that you do specifically. I said it's a relatively small and specific market. It will see products which don't have mass appeal or usage. For example, plus size is a target market in the women industry. Natural hair is a target in the women, is a niche market in the women industry. So that is specifically narrowing it down. A niche market can also be a target market. If you are selling pet food, people who own pets are your target market, but that's also a niche market. But there's a difference between a target market and a niche market. I will go to that in a few seconds. But I said it's a small but profitable segment of a market suitable for focused attention by a marketer. Remember what I said, narrow your focus, broaden your audience, because now you're speaking to specific people only. You are able to broaden the number of people that you're speaking to. But when you're trying to speak to everybody, you're not speaking to anybody because you're just speaking in broad terms. Concentrating all marketing efforts on small but specific and well-defined segments of the population. That's what you do when you niche down. Niche do not exist but are created by identity needs. So to determine the niche market, you have to understand the identity needs. So for example, if Nene is in the tourism industry and she wants to help other people in the tourism industry or people coming up in the tourism industry to make them understand how the market works, equip them to be able to take better decisions and not make the mistakes she made, equip them to be able to create a career path in that market. Now she has identified a need that people have, because probably that was a need she had when she started, and she has niched it down to specific people. So when she is targeting them, she's targeting specific people. So I said, okay, target markets and niche markets are quite similar, but there's a difference. A target market is a group of people who your product is being marketed to. Who? But a niche market adds another dimension to your target market. A niche market is a combination of who with what you're helping them with. So your niche market is who you're serving plus your solution what. So think about it from that perspective. You're serving the tourism industry experts. Your solution is equipping them with the skills and resources they need to create businesses. That's your niche market. So you've defined it in clear terms. One is who, one goes a step further and it's who and what. So when you're writing down your niche market in the document, fill out the niche market part. Look at the advantages of that specific niche. Look at the disadvantages. Look at the benefits. So you say, why does this niche exist? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Okay, what are the benefits of this niche market specifically? Then you are able to create content for the specific niche. Okay, does anybody have questions before I go to Tim? Okay.
I just wanted to stress the importance of what DK just said. I was going to add, but you already said it. We can create a niche based on a need. So, like, I'll repeat what you said. The person plus the problem is your niche. So you might be in the health and wellness space, but maybe you focus on detox as your product, or detox as what you're promoting, or detox as what your niche is all about, and all the benefits of doing regular detox and how to do it and all that kind of thing. So that is a need. So think in terms of what do they need, and then think in terms of who the person is. So this kind of person who needs this kind of thing, so that will help to narrow your niche.
Okay. All right. Now we are going to go to another page of your document that says team. And when I'm discussing the team, I want you to think about, to do a brain dump and write down teams that you want to work on. So there's a place I wrote brain dump for teams. I think it should be on page 3 or 4, but we are working on your teams now. The teams that you work on are based on the needs of your target market, niche market, and your industry. So the teams are the specific things that you are writing on. Where are they generated from? Your teams are generated from a mixture of knowledge about marketing, business goals, discussion with sales and competitive industry research, conversations with customers, or stems from compelling messages you just created. So a team is a mixture of so many things that you can talk about, but you want to be able to grow a content tree. So a team is very important. For example, An umbrella team could be productivity. That's a team. That's a specific team that we're talking about. An umbrella team could be personal development. That's a specific team we're talking about. So you need to choose teams that will bring out the best in your brand, but also show your creativity, also show your strengths, also show your, establish you as a credible source in your industry. So mental health is a team. Shopping is a team. Budgeting is a team. Goals are teams. Think about ideas that you can write on, because when you choose the right team, the emails you write, the blog posts you write, every single thing you do will come from the team that you've written. I said, grow a content tree. You can think of a hierarchy between message, teams, and topic like a tree. Your message, the important points that differentiates your company are the roots buried deep. So your foundation, your brand message is the roots of the tree. Then you're creating a foundation for the rest of your content. Because when your brand message is deeply rooted, it creates a proper message for your audience, for your content. Then the teams are your branches. The teams are the branches. So think idea buckets or content areas. So you're looking at the team as the branches of the content tree. The roots is your message. The team are the branches. And from these branches, what comes up from branches? You have leaves, and those are the topics that you will write on. So message is definitely defined by you. Teams are determined by you based on your message. Topics are determined by your team. The teams you create will guide all the topic choices you make for the year. But for now, we are looking at for 90 days. Teams are generated from a mixture of knowledge, and I've said that before. Then, apart from teams, we talked about topics being the leaves. Topics are the individual ideas that support each team. Each team branch, such as project planning and management, will have lots of leaves growing from it that it can represent, that can present the many pieces of content you will create. So for example, I gave my own teams here. I said my teams are mindset, business, and services. Mindset has to do, I said, okay, what are the topics under mindset that I can talk about? I can talk about goals, I can talk about vision, I can talk about success, stress, worry. Those are topics under mindset that I can easily discuss. Another thing I can talk about is business. Then it talks about pricing, growth, clients, finance, hiring. Those are business topics I can really discuss with ease. And you have a table where you're going to write down topics that you talk about. Then you have services, but this is specifically for me. So you've chosen the team, then you've chosen the topic or the sub team, because
what the fire, whatever it is you're cooking. Sorry.
Okay. So if you understand your team is the branch. Okay, let's do an example, not with mine. Who wants to give it a try about a team they want to talk about, and let's look at topics. Anyone?
Can I give it a try?
Yes, you can.
All right. Okay. So for my own industry is building industry. So I'm going to be talking about, and so my target audience are interior designers and decorators.
Okay.
So for my teams, I'm going to be looking at income planning.
Okay.
Business structure.
Okay.
And attracting clients.
Okay. Income planning, business structure, and attracting clients. They are all that can be said to be under one team.
Okay.
Business. That can be said to be under one team, business.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
Under business, you can have those as topics. So that's why I asked if anybody wants to go. Under business, you can have those as topics, because it's good to have 3 or more, 3 to 5 that you're working on to at least give you variety of content. But let's say, okay, you are in the building sector, right?
Yes.
Your audience already understand the industry since they
Yes.
are industry experts,
Yes.
but they are finding it difficult to structure their business. So mindset can also be part of your
Team.
because you are trying to change their minds, to make them to become more productive, to make them invest in themselves, to make them understand what they are doing. Because with the right mindset, then you are able to function in the business sector. If you look at the business sector as a team, then you can talk about the other topics, because now it's balancing each other out. By talking about mindset, talking about goals, talking about this thing, you are not overselling. So part of your team is value added, that will go to value added content. So part of the team you've selected is also adding value to people, because you are not just saying, oh, you can hire, you can do this, I can do this for you. You're saying, I am interested in your well-being also. That is a sub-team on its own. So then you can bring topics under that.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Does anybody else want to give it a go so that before we move to the type of the categories of content? BC, thanks. And that was BC, right?
Yes.
Person that spoke. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody else want to give it a go? Bosse, you should be able to give it a go with ease. All right, Bosse, let's hear from you. Let's look at your team, your sub-team, and sub-team is your topic, because a sub-team can still be further divided, because one topic can have lots of baby leaves that come out of it. So don't be afraid to say, oh, I've talked about goals, I was talking about goals only once. No, you can say, oh, I have picked a topic, goals, for example. I can talk about goals for a month. That's 4 posts or something. So it just helps you narrow it down further. Every brand is different, but you don't need to say, oh, because I've written one topic, I will talk about it only once. That's not necessarily true. You can talk about it over and over again till you bring out a good spin to it. Now, we've talked about the themes, we've talked about the topics, but what exactly are you posting? Which is bringing us to the end. We have 5 more slides and we're done. We have 5 categories of content. So we've talked about your industry, we've talked about your market. Now we're talking about categories of content, because when we create our editorial calendar on Wednesday, we're going to create an editorial calendar for the 9 months to say where each post is going. So we know what percentage of posts we are putting as user generated and for the other types of posts. So this is just going to be, just look at the category as a mix of content that you create. The other one, the first part, so that we don't cause any confusion, the first part I just talked about is what you post. This one is going deeper to what you post to say, okay, what category does this specific content belong to? And that's where I started with the one that we should all be able to talk about, which is user-generated content. Now, user-generated content can also be seen as your social proof. It is when people talk about your product online or talk about your services online or give feedback online. So you posting that is seen as you receiving feedback from someone. Most companies ask you for reviews because people trust reviews more than they trust the companies. If a company does an advert and says, oh, we are the #1 this, we kill 99% of germs, we do this, we do this, we do this, that is bragging. If somebody else comes and says, whoa, this COVID period, I used this product and I did not have any issues. This was good, this was good, this was good. People will trust that person's view because that person has given an honest view of how the product worked. So you want to get more of that type of content to post in your mix of content that you're posting. So this is your content mix. Your content mix should include user-generated content. It's similar with word of mouth advertising because it's what people are saying about you. I'll just read what I read. I said, it's a term used to describe any form of content such as videos, blog, discussions from posts, digital images, audio files, or other forms of media that are created by customer or end users of an online system or service. and is publicly available to other consumers and end users. So the user-generated content is now publicly available to others for others to use. You post it on your page. For example, Bossa sent me user-generated content of a client giving a feedback on the services she received in store. That's a user-generated content. Someone else seeing that comment will come to your store just because of the way the person gave that feedback. Have you not seen the fact that YouTubers and social influencers are growing daily? Influencers are growing, brands are paying them because people used to trust influencers because they were given the truth. They would just sit down with their camera and talk about it. Think about, I don't know if you remember this Patti LaBelle's sweet potato pie that went viral. This guy just sat down, ate a pie free of charge. He bought it with his own money and he started singing and talking about the pie. And it went viral. Everybody went to look for that pie. When Popeyes had something, I can't remember what they had, a sandwich or so, people were queuing on it because of the user-generated content that was posted on social media. So you want to get that kind of content where people are helping you brag about yourself rather than you bragging. Another mix of content you should have in your post is promotional content. Now you have a good and service that you're selling. You need to promote it. People need to know what you do. So if you do not promote yourself, no one is going to know the services you offer or the goods you sell. So promotional content can be, I have a blog post, go and read it. Promotional content can be, I wrote a book, buy it. It can be anything that you are selling at all. And selling could be, because what you could be buying now, another form of currency right now is people's views. If someone listens to your podcast, that is a view. If someone clicks on your email, that is a view. So that is something that you are selling. Brand awareness is who you are. Everybody needs to know who you are and what you stand for. So that's your brand awareness post. Your brand awareness post is your ask, what you share to make people understand what your brand is about. MS said at the Yellow Pepper Club, we are talking about being messy, not being perfect, doing things the way we should do it. That's what brand awareness post is. I've given more details about brand awareness posts and examples of brand awareness posts so that you can just think about it when you're creating. So for example, for my brand awareness, something about my brand is about cooperation over competition. I believe that by competing with each other, we don't succeed, but we support each other by cooperating. That's a brand awareness post. So when I talk about cooperation, when I post quotes about cooperation, when I post posts about oneness, it's talking about my brand. Partnership content is amazing. For example, I will use Fumi and Nena. Nena is Nene. I call her both. So for example, they are both in the same industry. But when they talk about each other, they are able to create a partnership post. So for example, when Nena says, Fumi on BBC today, go and watch that interview. It makes people that know Fumi come to Nena. It makes people that know Nena go to Fumi. Also, if what other industry can we have? If we have the building sector and an interior decorator, we have an architect and an interior decorator. The interior decorator talks about the architect talks about the interior decorator. It's mutually beneficial to both people. So you use your partnership post as your man crush and woman crush Wednesday in your mix, so that you have a good mix on your grid for your Instagram. So that's a partnership post. Think about people you can shout at. Think about people that you want to work with in the future. Think about what you can write about them that will make them understand that you're not just a groupie looking to them, but you've learned something from them. It could be a book that you've read and you say, oh, I read this book and this book really inspired me. It could be a podcast that you are going on in the future. You talk about the podcast. It could be something you can also pitch yourself to these people. Oh, we could start a series of people that would love to work with as partnership content. It makes it easy for you to do it. Now, this is a place that is very important because it makes up to 40% of your content, and that's value added content. Value added content is content you create that adds value. Simple. It's educational. It could be how-to tips. How many of us watch tutorials when we are looking for something? Oh, I need this recipe. Let me go to a rapper. I said, okay, let me see Google whether there's anybody that is teaching people how to tie a wrapper. If you want to tie gaily, you go on YouTube. Those are value-added content. So what content can you create for your industry that will add value to people that they will search for you? That's what you should be thinking about. Think about content you can create to meet the needs of your specific industry and create this content. I will end here. Then I'll just go through the document briefly so that everybody can feel it in the next 1 hour. That would just, so I'll just ask for 3 more minutes for that. Your value added content is essential. Don't think about what you can gain for people. It's not just only about money. You are speaking to people. You are trying to connect with your audience. The person that sold me how to tie a wrapper gained something for me. There was a currency she gained, my view. And your view is important on YouTube. Your view is important on podcasts. Your view is important on so many platforms. Your click rates are important. So you think about what value can I add that will bring people to me? If you look at a place like Pinterest, for example, value-added content thrives on Pinterest. If people pin the content you said, or how to get into the tourism industry, how to start a building project, what to look out for when you're selecting a builder, how to recruit staff to support you when you're working. All those are value-added content. If you create a good graphic and post that on Pinterest, what it does is it redirects traffic to your website. So the value you bring draws attention back to you in so many ways. So it's like 40% of your content. You can even make it higher. 40%, but we'll go talk about the percentage later. And I will stop here, stop sharing my screen, and then start sharing my screen again to just go through the documents with you. But before I share the document, has everyone downloaded the document?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
So
you.
you're making a copy for yourself. So, okay, awesome. You're making a copy for yourself so you can feel it. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go into the break room, and if anybody has questions as they're filling their documents, you can ask me without interrupting the others as I'm working on the document. But I will go through the document before we go into the break room because I have just 2 more minutes to go through the documents with you. Sorry about the extra time I'm taking. All right, so I call this print 1, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to write your brand name and contact details, or whatever, fill on the details, because this is a virtual assistant. If you don't have your color code, don't worry about that. That will be filled. Let me show you one that has a color code and everything written. So I have, for this brand, I've written the color code and everything. So it makes it easier for whoever is designing to follow these codes so that you have consistency in your feed. No matter what, you have consistency in your feed, that you are not using one code today and another code tomorrow. For those of you that already have businesses, I want you to fill your brand story, and it's simple. Your brand is unique for who? This is the value you bring, what product or service you offer, proposition, your statement of benefits, the service you offer that does something. So here you say what, then the proposition is your that. Then your promise and why your brand exists. Those questions have to be answered by you, because answering those questions will help you create better content. If you know who it's for, the value your brand brings, if you understand all these things, you are able to create better content. Then we talked about industry. Remember I said what industry, what sub-market, what niche market. So you feel that. This importance is for industry. So Bolaji, this is yours. So please, for the other people's one, I wrote it. The importance is for industry. So what is the importance of the industry? What are the advantages of the industry? What are the disadvantages, and what is missing in this specific industry? Then for your market, you do the same thing. what's important, and your niche market. Then this is your brain dump for your content or your industry. If you're not sure, do a brain dump of your umbrella team. Sorry, I said industry, of your umbrella team. Think about different teams that you can work on based on your industry, and then do a brain dump. When you've done a brain dump, pick 3. Then you write the topics of the 3 that you've picked on this sub-teams topics column. You write the team, and then the number 1 topic, number 2 topic, number 3 topic, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have 3 teams, 10 topics. 3 teams, 10 topics. Then this is just an example of type of content you can post on Instagram.
How we're going to get our 90 days of content.
Yes, this is how you're going to get your 90 days of content. 3 teams, 10 topics. And these 3 teams, 10 topics can take you longer than 90 days. That's the truth. Because like I said, for a topic, your topic can be on goals. You can do 4 blog, you can do 1 week of content on goals only. So 3 teams, 9 topics. Content post type just tells you different types of posts you can have for Instagram. I said your social media feed should be a mix of different categories of content. Remember, I talked about mix. So it's not predictive and boring, because you can't do photo shoots every day for your brand. You have to have something that will make it interesting. So I said value added content. I will talk about it more down. These are just examples. I said this could be how to talk, case studies, informative, personal research, industry research. It doesn't have to be your research. It could be industry research, case studies, personal development. It could be interviews. Now, brand awareness content, I said it could your brand values, corporate social responsibility, showcase company culture, do a sneak peek behind the scenes of what you do. Show how your products or your services are applied. Create a story with your product that engages consumers and creates a compelling reason for them to click on your site and start shopping. Let them know your why. I said short, Jesus Christ, Yoruba girl. Instead of shorts, I wrote, please everybody correct that for me. Emma Binu. Short and long-term goals. Then sometimes you have to introduce yourself, because I want to reintroduce myself, and I will tell you what I'll be saying about my post on Friday where I'm introducing myself. Another thing you should do is have conversations with people. So questions, fill in the gap, caption this photo, polls and reviews. This one is specific for Instagram. Connection is still behind the scenes, reviews, employees or customer features, share an experience, tell the story, walk a mile in the shoes of your audience. Now, when you walk a mile in the shoes of your audience, you are able to think like them. You identify their struggles. Then you can create content for them. Be human, respond to content, to comments, conduct and ask me anything. So if I say, oh, ask me anything, that's a simple way to get people to start having a conversation with you. I said your promotional content, your user generated is promotional. Your client testimonial is an example of promotional. Speaking engagement, if you have a speaking engagement, sales, discounts, talk about upcoming events, share how people can connect with you, and promote podcasts. Inspirational content, we talk about quotes, facts, personal stories, interviews. Showcase someone you admire. Then I'll talk more about carousels, but we'll talk about that another time. Microblog or carousels introduction. So you have your daily posts. Introduce yourself, let people still see you. This is what you do every week. You post daily, you put 1 carousel at least, and post a personal introduction, post something personal. Engagement rules, when people share your stories, reshare, support, shout out, acknowledge customers, reward systems, respond to your customers, listen to understand, don't listen to respond. Analyze, take note of your best and worst performing content, which is something MS said she will talk about. We have to review our content. Take note of your best performing email that you sent. What was that email you sent that got you the best feedback, open rates? What was that blog post you put that got you the best clicks? Analyze them. Communication is a two-way street. Remember, it is crucial to have a conversation. So it's about talking and listening to understand than responding. Think about quality over quantity. I gave you examples of user-generated content. I gave you examples, loads of examples of value-added content. Then I said, This could be value added content. You fill in the blank post. So you can do fill in the blank post. I will give you an example. So when you do your research, you tick I've done research. When you've designed it, you tick I've done design. When you schedule it, you think I've done scheduling. This or that. Do you prefer fried rice to jollof rice? It's a simple this or that post. Do you prefer audio books to physical books? Is a this or that post. Step-by-step process. So this is the way to 5 steps to overcoming your fear. The 12 steps to overcoming alcohol addiction. How to, I said how to, the verb, the best topic, how to get the best suya. Have you done your research? Have you designed it? Have you scheduled it? And that's it, 11 pages. Thank you very much for giving me extra time. Okay, any questions?
Thank you so much, DK. Well done. That was good. That was really, really good. That content is Google Doc is packed full of things that we can really dig into, you know. So I think it's something that we should just keep referring to over these next 3 days. Just keep referring to it. It's like you know, brainstorming ideas of posts, you know, that you want to do. But I think it's good that we first of all start by knowing, you know, who we are and who we serve, and kind of like having that really niche. While you were talking, I thought about Tutu. Are you there?
Somebody has a question when you're through. Anybody that has a question, please ask, because this is a document you'll be working with for the next 3 days. Even if we work on only this document for 3 days and we don't do the hashtags on Thursday, I don't have a problem with that. But this document is important. Abosede, what's your question? You're muted.
My question is on content. Okay,
Content.
okay. Promotional content, is it the same as brand awareness?
No, not
So what is
necessarily.
the difference?
So brand awareness, you are not selling anything. You're just telling them who you are. So they are linked. Brand awareness posts are just saying, this is who I am. So if you go to that document, I gave you examples of brand awareness posts. Yes, it could be promotional because you're still promoting yourself, but you are promoting yourself in a subtle way, not necessarily in a very hardcore way that this is what I am selling. So the reason I have separated promotional from brand awareness is we can focus on this is who we are, these are the charities we support, this is what we do, and on the soft part of our brand, which is brand awareness, it's not visible, that we neglect the hard part, which is promotional. So although they are linked, I have separated them because you need to have both. Because if you say only promotional, there's a tendency that you will forget to do the brand awareness one. So brand awareness is here, promotional is here, but they are closely linked. They are separated for your editorial calendar, because an editorial calendar is what we're going to create on Thursday. We'll talk about hashtags and creating a calendar, but they are separate. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? You can unmute yourself if you have a question. Someone, Flo said, do we have access to the recording of this session to dock out for a workout meeting? But we'd love to listen to the session. Yes, we have access to the session.
The session will be in the group. So we're recording. I think I'm actually going to stop the stream.
Right. Yes, so that we can get to work.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Bossa says she understands. Awesome.